Thank you very much for letting me tell tonight. I've got a story. It's a traditional Indian story. Once upon a time, there was a king who ruled his kingdom by day, but at night, he dressed up as one of the common people, and he roamed his kingdom looking for adventure. Now one night this king came upon three women who were having a conversation about the most delicious things in life. And he was so impressed by what these women were talking about that he followed each one home, and he left his royal seal upon their doors. And the next day, he sent out his guards to get the first girl to be brought to him. And when she was brought before him, he said, "Yesterday, you were having a conversation with your friends. Tell me what it is that you said." And the first girl said, I said that the most delicious thing in life is wine. "Really?" said the king. "But aren't you the daughter of the high priest, who week after week preaches to the people about the evils of wine and how it tempts the hearts of men? Surely you've never had wine yourself." "Oh, I haven't," said the girl. "But we live near an inn. And every week we see people going into the inn and they drink far too much wine. And then for days afterwards they complain about pains in their hearts and pains in their heads and how they will never ever drink another drop of wine as long as they live." I don't know if there's anyone here who can relate to that. "And yet week after week they return to the inn and they continue to drink too much wine. And so I decided that wine must be quite delicious to put up with all of that pain." "There is wisdom in what you say," said the king. And he gave her a handsome present and sent her on her way. The next day he sent his guards for the second girl, who was the youngest of the three. And when she was brought before him, he said, "2 days ago, you were having a conversation with your friends. Tell me what it is that you said." "Well," said the girl, I said that the most delicious thing in life is sex." And the king was surprised. "But you were just a child," he said. "How could you possibly know of the joys of sex?" "Oh, I don't," said the girl. "But my father is a storyteller. And when my mother was giving birth to my brother, the labor was long and it was painful. And I was sure that she would never be interested in sex again. And yet, as soon as my brother was born, my mother fell back in the bed with my father and they continued to make love. And so I decided that sex must be quite delicious to put up with all of that pain." And the king said, "What you say of storytellers and their skills as lovers cannot be denied." And he gave her a handsome present and sent her on her way. The next day he sent for the third girl, and when she was brought before him, he said, "3 days ago you were having a conversation with your friends. Tell me what it is that you said." And the girl said, "Your Majesty, I said that the most delicious thing in life is telling lies. And if you give me 2,000 rupees and a year, I will prove it to you." And the king was impressed. He gave her the money, and a year to the day he received an invitation from the girl to visit the home that she had built with that money. The king arrived with his counselor, and they were greeted by the girl, and they were given a tour of the house, and each room was more lavishly decorated than the last, till they finally came to a small room. And the girl said, "Your Majesty, as you well know, God does not like to show himself to large groups of people. He only likes to appear to 1 or 2 people at a time, and so I had this room specially constructed so that you can see God with your own eyes, if you are worthy and you are legitimately born." Now the king wasn't too sure about this, but he had come with his counselor, so he let the counselor go in first. The counselor sat in the room, and it was beautifully decorated, and he sat down and he waited and he waited and he waited, and he did not see God. And he panicked. "What if I go out there and I tell them I did not see God? Perhaps the king will think I am not worthy to be his counselor, and I will lose my position and all that I have worked for." So when the counselor stepped out, the girl said, "So, did you see God?" "I did," said the counselor. "Not only did I see God, but I spoke to God at length, and he shared the secrets of the universe with me so I can continue to give good advice to his Majesty." Well, this is all the king needed to hear. And he rushed into that room and he sat down and he waited and he waited and he waited, and he did not see God. And he found himself in the same situation as the counselor. "What if I go out there and I tell them I did not see God? Perhaps they will think I'm not legitimately born and I don't deserve this crown upon my head." And so when he stepped out, the girl said, "So, Your Majesty, did you see God?" "I did," said the king. "Not only did I see God, but I spoke to God at length, and he told me that I was the rightful ruler of this land." Well, then the girl revealed that there was nothing special about the room, and there was no reason for them to see God. But the king protested. He said this is a trick. And there was nothing delicious about that lie. I had to lie to save my own skin. "Oh, there are many ways to lie," said the girl. "Some people tell lies. Some people live lies. Some people dress up as people they are not and listen to conversations to which they were not invited." And the king was so impressed with this girl that he married her on the spot. And he made her his queen, and people came from all over the kingdom to listen to the queen tell them lies that were so perfect they spoke the truth. And that is the story of the delicious lie. Yeah.